All right, so. We had, what are we doing? This is math 335. And we've been working on, ooh, that's bright. Now not bright enough. It's all fucking terrible on Zoom right now. We were working on solving quadratic equations. And one of the methods we did was completing the square. And that gives people a lot of trouble. And since it's something we're going to do more of later on, we thought we'd hit it again. So let's say we have x squared plus 8x. I don't know why I put parentheses there. X squared plus 8x plus 6 equals 0. Let's make it 26. So the idea here was we could move the 26 to the other side. And I'm going to leave some space there to add something on that side. Completing the square, no matter what we do, we're going to end up with the x here, the plus here, and 1/2 of this right here. So 1/2 of 8 is 4. That's the goal. So if I multiply this out, you look at it real quick, this is x plus 4 times x plus 4, which is x squared plus 8x plus 16 when you clean it up. What we need to do is add an extra 16 here. The way we get that is we take 1/2 of that 8, which is 4, and we square it. The idea of taking the half gets this, the 4 tells us what's going there and there. And the fact that we're squaring it is because it's getting squared right here. We're going to have 4 times 4. So you just take half of the number in front of x and you square it, and that's what you add to both sides. Add it to both sides. So this was just to show you what's going on. I'm going to bring this down here and say the x plus 4 squared here equals negative 26 plus 16 is negative 10. So you take half of the 8. Half of the 8 is 4. That's what goes in the parentheses. We square the 4, and that's what we add to both sides. So now that we're at this point, we can take the square root. And the square root of a square is just the original number. The square root of negative 10 is plus or minus I root 10. Come on in, Jimmy. You might like completing the square, we're practicing some hard shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I gotta fix only one sentence on my essay real quick. Then I'll come on. I thought this wasn't the case.
It's back a little bit further or something.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And finally, we subtract 4 from both sides. And I can't add the -4 to the I root 10s as is, so I just have to say it's -4 plus or minus I root 10. And there's no other way to make that any prettier. Any questions? Getting a haircut sound like a good idea, didn't it?
Yeah.
I'm in sporting a shorter due. Alright, let's give you guys another one. Let's give you guys one to try for yourselves. Let's do x squared minus I don't know, 10x plus 20 equals 0. Take a few minutes to work on that, see what you come up with, and we'll do it together. And how you doing, Drew?
Alright, so far. Scrapping. That's good to do that.
So where are you at so far? Walk me through your thought process.
I kind of followed the steps of the first problem
So what'd you do first here?
and added, let's see. Added 20 to both sides, sorry, subtracted 20 from both sides.
Subtracting from both sides, that's an excellent start. Okay,
And then I brought down the. Let's see. Yeah, and then I brought down the x squared and half of 10x, which I got x minus 5 squared.
that, okay,
And then that turns the equation to x squared minus 10x plus 25.
good. So you have the -5 and you squared it, you got the 25. Did you add 25 to the other side?
Yes.
Okay. So you should be right about there right now,
Right.
alright. So now what do we do? You're almost done. You got through the hard part. Completing the square is the hard part.
That's right. That's fine.
So what is affecting X right now? Like, what do we want to get rid of on the left side to get X by itself?
Want to get rid of the square, right?
We want to get rid of the square and we gotta get rid of the -5. And we gotta work from the outside in. How do I get rid of the square?
By squaring x minus 5. Or
Not squaring. Close.
that's
Like if I had 2 squared equals 4. How do I get this side down to
by finding the root, right?
defining the root? So finding the root is the key. We would do roots there, we're gonna do roots here. And if you don't know the square root of the number, you're best off just leave me alone as it is for now. Make sure you have a plus or minus.
And we add 5 to get rid of the negative.
Yes, we do. So, when you get down to here, you should always check to see if this reduces. But 5 is a small prime number. 5 is a prime number, so like. Prime numbers are not squares. The only prime number that, nope, 1 is not even considered a prime number. There are no prime numbers that are squares, so if it's a prime number. It's done, it doesn't reduce. Now, if you needed to use it for something. Like if you wanted to graph it for something. Throw it in a calculator. And if we did that. We really need to recognize that this is 2 different values. This is 5 plus square root of 5. Or x equals 5 minus square root of 5. This is 2 point something, I don't know. 2 point question mark. So this will be x equals 7 point question mark. And then 5 minus 2 something is gonna be 2 point something here also. But for now, it's perfectly fine to leave it like this. You want another one like that?
Yeah, it's one
Oh, nice. Kind of complicated. Just by.
It doesn't need anything more than that. This is a Casio, TI-84 from Texas Instruments, it's pretty good.
Can I get that on Amazon?
Oh, yeah, like. Let me see what the TI-84 costs, I think it's fairly cheap. No, that's not cheap. Why, they got a fucking graphing thing. The fuck?
Nice. This one's more.
It does not, you do not, you don't want a graphing one.
Oh, no.
Jesus. Anything that says scientific calculator is usually pretty good. You should be able to get a good one for under 15 bucks. Usually you can find one for under 10. The TI-30 here, let's see. This one's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I was looking at, now, so
Yeah, this one's not, this one's decent.
this is the number one bestseller.
I don't remember the same one, but it is the number one I'm looking at. Yeah, that one totally works. Yeah,
What was that sales to?
well, they've only been making that brand for fucking ever, so it's not. You're not paying for fucking cutting edge shit right now. Paying for shit that works. Alright. True say you wanted another one. Ooh. Let's make it more challenging. We're playing the game. I know, I'm just fucking with you. Background.
Alright.
It rain over there in Visalia? Is that where you live?
But no, I'm sorry. It rained this weekend, yeah.
It rained like crazy, right? Cause I live right here, but.
Oh, wow, you're super close.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on the west side, well, northwest side of Tulare. Over near the Prosperity Ballpark.
Oh, okay.
I'm not too far from that. It's fun, I was looking up solar rebates. Cause like, depending on where you live, you can get like a. Neighborhood needs reinforcement rebate, basically.
Really?
And everywhere in fucking Tulare damn near had it. Except in like a 3-block range where I live, it was like red all around me. And then like fucking within like the 3-block range where I live. I'm next to a fucking elementary school, I don't know what its school is called.
It's Dooley's, I think.
Okay, yeah, I'm over, there's a school right there. And I guess that it's just nice enough that they don't think that the neighborhood needs it, but it's surrounded by everything else.
Yeah.
You motherfuckers. That's being picky, you had to target out my neighborhood, you should have just done the whole town as red.
Yeah. And.
We are completing the square right here, then we're gonna kick it up and do a harder one. Did you buy the calculator already?
Oh,
Did you buy it, click buy already? I'm gonna say, cause Amazon Prime has Prime Days on October 10th and 11th. I don't know if you have it,
yeah, I do.
it might be cheaper then, but if you already hit buy, you already hit buy.
You know, my mom has Amazon Prime. Because I'm asking her right now. Should be here. It's 2 days.
Let me guess, the fraction is slowing you down, Drew. Well, you could treat it as a decimal. Do it together? Wanna walk me through how far you got?
Not really, cause I just realized I was doing it all wrong.
Alright, let me give you guys another couple minutes now. Looks like Eric was just rebuffing himself and brushing up on the notes,
Yeah.
now he's tackling it. Hopefully you started off with moving the 5 of them. This is where the pain in the butt begins. 7 divided by 2 doesn't give me a nice little pretty number. But I do need it divided by 2. And I'm gonna have X and then the plus sign will be a plus. That's what I want to square. 7 halves squared is 7 squared on top, 2 squared on bottom. So this is 49/4. If I write -5 with a denominator of 4, I gotta multiply by 4/4. And that would give me -20/4. So I'll put this up here. And cross off the -5. So if I add the 49/4 and -20/4. I get 29/4. Not the easiest or most intuitive thing. That makes sense? Is that what you did though, is it?
No.
Alright, so we take the square root of both sides. And I can do this as square root of 29 over square root of 4. With a plus or minus. And the square root of 4, I know, the square root of 4 is 2. So I can just leave 2 on bottom. Got it. Alright, take me home, Drew. How do I finish this?
By subtracting 7/2.
Yeah.
Both sides.
I know you got that part now. And if we wrote it in a form that looks like the quadratic formula. It would be like this. All one fraction.
My first answer was completely different, because my first instinct for whatever reason was to root 7. And so I ended up with x equals -7 plus or minus the square root of 2.
Yeah, we gotta wait until we have that, we don't want to take the root until we see a square by itself.
Okay.
Keep that in mind, the square root step is when we have nothing but a square on the left.
Okay.
Like this is one big, if I put a box around it, the box is squared. Here the x is squared, but the 7 is. Alright, one more. I have no idea if this factors or not, it might actually factor. But we did only one problem like this, so I thought I'd walk you guys through this together. What we want to do first, completing the square really only works when ax squared is really just 1x squared. I want the number in front to be a 1. Which means I have to force it to be 1. I gotta force the 1. By dividing by 3 everywhere. Including the right side. Becomes x squared. Plus 5/3 x. And I'm gonna add the -8/3 to the other side, I'm gonna add 8/3 to both sides. Just to save a little space here. Are you guys okay with that step? That step's not too bad, it's the next step that sucks. So, what we've done is in the past, we bring the x down, we bring the sign down. And we wanna divide this number by 2. The other thing you can do instead of dividing by 2 is multiply by 1/2. Like 8 divided by 2 is the same thing as 8 times 1/2. That makes this a little bit easier to work with. Because we multiply tops and bottoms separately and I get 5/6. That's squared. So we got a square to see what we added to both sides. We added 5/6 squared to both sides. Let's see what 5/6 squared is. It's 5/6 squared is 5 squared over 6 squared. It's 25/36. And we want to get a common denominator to add these. So one of them is 3.
72.
Not quite. 36 is actually gonna be it. 36 is 3 times 12. So we could just multiply this by 12/12. The whole. If I do that, what does that end up being right there? 8 times 12 is 96 on top. Over 36 plus 25/36. I add those up, I get 121/36. This is a perfect square. I thought it might factor. That's the part I know you hate. That's the part most students hate. That's the part I don't hate, but I enjoy the least. Alright, so we got the square law, what do we do with it? We root it. Which means we're gonna root the other side. I need the parentheses, I keep trying to do the parentheses. This will be plus or minus the square root of 121 over the square root of 36, which is 11/6. They're both perfect squares. So if I subtract 5/6 from both sides. Gotcha. Now, this is where we don't want to leave it alone. Cause we can combine these and do something with this. If we put the denominator together and make one big fraction. I can see this is -5 plus 11/6. Or x equals -5 minus 11/6. Well, this ends up being what, 6/6, which is 1. This over here is -16/6. Which is -8/3. No way. I could have just factored this from x squared plus 5/3 x minus 8/3. Huh. But I guess if I hadn't divided by the 3. We'd have a different situation here. I think this factors. Clearly it does. It factors into x minus 1. And 3x equals -8, 3x plus 8 equals 0. So the original equation could have been factored to x minus 1 and 3x plus 8. Working backwards. This is actually a handy skill, working backwards. So you start with the solution. I had x equals -8/3. Clear the fractions first. So multiply both sides by 3. If you do, you get that. Then what we want is get 0 on the one side. So to get 0 on one side, we'll add 8 to both sides. And we get that. Here we had x equals 1, there was no fraction to clear. So I just subtracted 1 over to the other side to get the x on one side, 0 on the other. I think it's shorter. Try it out. It's all right. Played some D&D yesterday, no, Saturday,
Was that again, dragons and what?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Fortnite and God of War for the longest time.
I need to get back to God of War. I am not playing the Ragnarok one, I'm playing the one before it, so
Then I was playing Dragon.
I'm right now, I'm playing the first Norse one.
That's a certain spot in Ragnarok where I think as I got pissed off at the whole screw.
Did you play the first one? The first Norse one?
Working easy,
What?
2018 version.
Yeah,
No, I don't think so. Oh, probably, yeah.
I don't know if Ragnarok has the boy in it or not,
That Ragnarok is like,
Yeah, it's a continue.
yeah,
okay. 2018 has the boy also.
really.
Yeah,
I think I was playing Ragnarok like that, for sure. They said Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were probably playing.
that's the second version.
Oh, yeah.
The final ones.
Oh. It's not like a second game, it's just like an expanded version?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's just like a continuation of the story.
Okay, so part 1 and part 2, okay.
Yes.
That works.
We did all agree. What people are speculating on this Egyptian.
You just killed the Pantheon, it was okay.
Killing everything. That's the word for him.
How do you go from, I missed the whole storyline where to be like lost. Like,
Oh, from first 3 games?
yeah,
In the final game of first ones he killed you.
oh,
And that
that's-
kind of that destroyed all of them.
so he was like lost all.
Yeah, he lost everything. He's still God.
Yeah, but he's like. a coward.
I forget where his powers come from, and it's like the first God of War.
Well, I think they say that Zeus is his dad.
Yeah, I think he's like Hercules where he's got like, he's half deity,
Yeah, he is,
that's why he can actually harm them.
yeah,
And then I'm pretty sure. Just like the Ragnarok or the Norse one is his family gets killed.
yeah,
Uh,
Yeah, I ended up playing both 1, 2, and 3 of the first game before Ragnarok. I finished one.
I like that one
I think that's
better.
what all the first two, yeah,
2018 God of War.
the God of War,
God of War.
yeah, you got it.
I like the chains.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's very, that's my favorite.
That's the old school God of War.
Yeah. He sold his soul to get those. The whole story of the first one is that he tried to sold his soul to the God of War in order to win a battle. And he didn't really lost himself per se, he killed his family himself, and he blames the gods.
Okay.
Which is why he really killed his friend.
Is that how his wife died?
Yeah,
He killed his own wife,
he
yeah,
killed his own.
That's right.
it is, yeah.
I don't know that I played the first God of War, I know I played God of War 2 and 3.
Yeah.
It's because when you took the blade, the blades, the chain weapons they had.
Yeah.
Like those, and then destroyed himself right away.
Yeah.
He killed them, and when he realized that it was too late, now he blames the gods. Well, that's when he went on the whole, I'm gonna kill everyone. But
Forgot the whole storyline of it, honestly, and I just kind of, when I was shooting, like 8 or 9 or 10, whatever, when you find it on a GameCube, almost so addicted.
I played it recently because of
Oh.
PlayStation, they have that streaming thing that you can do. with
Yeah, that's right, I
PlayStation
forgot.
3 stuff.
Yeah.
I played through all the games, so it's been so for him.
Damn, bro.
It's not too hard, just play on easier to
That's. Yeah, you
just keep.
So we go through this one, we we move the -10 over, we cut the -6 in half, we get -3. -3 squared is 9, so that's what we're gonna add to both sides. We end up with x minus 3, that quantity squared equals -1. We hit this with the square root. And we get x minus 3 equals plus or minus I. I add 3 to both sides, I get the 2 answers. So if we wanted to see it, what it would have looked like if we factored. Make the right side equal 0. I'm gonna subtract -3 and -I from both sides. I get x minus 3 minus I equals 0. And if I do the same thing here, I'm not subtracting -3 and I'm adding I get x minus 3 plus I equals 0. So you have x minus 3 minus I times x minus 3 plus I equals 0. That doesn't look all that easy, does it? There's no way you're gonna intuit that as a factor thing. Alright, I'm gonna hit pause on the recording. Or stop on the recording actually, because it's 2 different clouds.